when the new codex finally drops. I hope this is a legal loadout. Nice. So first up here, I'm going to go ahead and drill a nice 3mm hole to put my 3mm magnet in here. I'm going to use about a 3mm by a 3mm magnet, and that's because this whole depth is about 3mm as well, and that'll be just sit nice and flush. Now, it's going to be not exactly as strong as I want it, so I'm going to come around to the other side and shave off all of the little doodads and bits here. And this is going to allow me to put a 5mm by 2mm magnet behind it, and that's going to increase the strength to hold the weapon on a little stronger. I'm making sure to check the fit to make sure that this all does fit together with the guy in there, and this little magnet isn't pushing into his leg too much. Of course, I can shave off a little bit of his leg. This will be sticking out and be visible because these are going to be Scout Sentinels, but honestly, at the end of the day, if you can look in there and tell that a painted magnet is a magnet and not one of these little greeblies, I'd be really surprised. Which brings us to actually putting the magnets in place. Now, polarity is going to be important. I'm doing 3 Sentinels at the same time so I can get all of the polarity of all the magnets the same. So all the weapons will have the same polarity, and that way I can swap weapons between Sentinels if I really want to. So I'm going to check on one that I've already done, line it up with the weapon to make sure they're all just in alignment, north and south, they're being consistent. And then I'm going to put some glue on here and pop it into place. I always have some of these pointed Q-tips around so I can wipe off any excess super glue. If you get it fast enough, you won't actually glue the Q-tip to the thing you're trying to wipe off. And that'll bring us to little back bits here. Now these are the charge packs, the flamer tanks, or the little targeter for the missile launcher, depending on which one you do. Now, of course, the targeter is going to be the most difficult because it is the smallest. So I'm going to go with a small drill here and just kind of drill a series of pilot holes, if you will, to get up to the size that I need. I want to be very careful not to blast through the other side of this. Luckily, it's pretty flat and could be pretty easily replaced. I left the square on there and drilled a hole through it to more accurately get kind of the center of where that square was before I cut it off. But I definitely want to file it off because I don't want that to be there, because I want the magnets to do the placing, not any physical pieces. I'm going to take this all the way up to a 3mm drill because I'm actually going to use a 3mm by 1mm magnet to put inside of here. A 3mm magnet would not fit because this thing is too thin, so I'm going to go with a 1mm. And that'll bring us to gluing this in place as well. Now, again, polarity is important, so you can see I'm actually have the stack of magnets on the actual Sentinel body, so I can't mess up the polarity. I might still find a way, but this should work. So you may have noticed earlier that I totally used one of the chainsaws to check polarity for the side mount weapons. Now, technically they're not really supposed to go in the side mount, they're supposed to go underneath. Well, I'm making sure all the polarity is the same for both, so I've actually drilled a hole in the bottom of the Sentinel base itself. It kind of destroyed a couple of his feet, but it's so deep, no one's really going to see that. So I'm going to check polarity again, make sure it's all good, and again, this is the same polarity as the side weapon, so if I wanted to have a chainsaw on the side and the flamer on the bottom, I totally could do that. And that'll bring us to painting. Now, I painted the entire interior of these, and I just took a quick picture here. These are the Sentinels with the inside painted. I painted it before I assembled them, and then I've put some black silly putty, basically, that I got from Green Stuff World to mask off this whole thing so I can paint the bodies without worrying about screwing up the inside. And where would we be with magnetizing stuff without having a really cool storage solution? So this is actually just a tin I got on Amazon, like a little Altoids tin, and this actually holds all of the weapon options for all 3 of the Sentinels pretty nicely. I can fill the top, the bottom, and even the sides. It's pretty awesome. And now that we've done all that work, we can run the Sentinel like this, basically every time we play. Okay, so maybe the codex will come out and give us more options. And to be fair, this is also a totally cool and valid loadout, but we'll see what the new codex brings if it ever comes out. But what I am excited about is the new Imperial Knights Codex. I have a whole bunch of content coming out, tutorials, we're doing lights, sound, all the cool stuff, so if you don't want to miss those, subscribe and hit that bell notification, and if you want to support the channel, I now have a Patreon. Links for that and a cool shirt if you'd like it are in the description.